Arthaus. This is Arthaus, and today we are with the Godfather of self-improvement Twitter, Ed Latimore, who is currently chilling back in the USA after a brief stint in Portugal. Ed, how are you doing, my man?
Pretty good, man. I don't have COVID, so that's a good. Man, I don't have HIV either, so I don't know if like we're neither that's neither here nor there. Life's good, man. Nothing to complain about. Just working, 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 using the time. Nothing's really changed on the day to day for me. So
Yeah,
uh, just try to stay busy, I guess, and,
gotcha.
and, and make progress.
Have you, where you are, have you been able to like go outside, or has that been kind of like, have they been closing things down where
You
you're
know
at?
what's crazy? If you look at the news and you look at what people are showing, you would think that like there's patrolmen on every block and people are like, show me your papers and shit like that.
Yeah,
Uh, no experiences like that so far. I mean, now you can't go in any store without with a mask. I mean, that's about it. But you go
yeah,
to the Walmart, you go to the Target, you go to the bank. I'm trying to think about where else I've been. The grocery store. As long as you got a mask, life is good. No one's, nothing has changed. With the exception, we got some Texas Roadhouse, and we had to pick it up on the side of the curb. But like, no, I mean, I said like someone came out and brought it to us. They didn't just like drop it on the curb and then be like,
yeah,
get
yeah.
in, get out of here. No, but I haven't. I hear what the news is saying, but then I look around in my day to day, even interacting with people, other than the fact that people have masks on
Yeah.
now, nothing's really different.
See where I'm at, they've closed down the beaches and they've closed down the trails and stuff. And it's like everybody is just standing on the outside of the beach, just waiting to go in, watching the sea anyway. Some people are just breaking the line and going surfing anyway, getting
Yeah,
$1,000 tickets. It's like,
at some point you got to just let it, wow, in the most literal sense of the word, Darwinism do its thing. In that, like, now normally when I say that, it's tongue in cheek about letting stupid people kill themselves off,
yeah,
but here it's exactly what it sounds like. In that, look, man, we have the numbers, we have a good idea of, or at least a good enough idea. I mean, depending on who you ask, of like the risk population and some of the risk factors, and now reports are coming out that, like, stuff seems to have worked
mhm,
um pretty well, and we'll never know if like it would have been like this normally, but things are going well. Just let people's immune system, kind of adapt. But that's what's going to happen anyway, or not. I mean, the really cool thing is I haven't had to put too much energy into this either way. Like in my mental space, I've been able to just focus on what's important to me.
yeah. Well, that seems good. That seems really good. And one of the projects that you're working on, I think, is a fiction book, right?
Oh yeah, yeah. I've always wanted to do that, and finally, I was just like, things are like if I don't pull the trigger now, that's what I was telling Adam Lane Smith, has been very kind
Mhm.
in giving me his time and energy and resources to kind of help me plot this thing out. One
Mhm.
of the things I said to him, I said, "Look, man, if I don't pull the trigger on it now, I will." I will continue to find reasons to not do it because there's no restrictive thing. There are people who are working 9 to 5 with entire families putting out books. What's my excuse? I don't have one. So I've always wanted to do that. So that's what I'm working on right now. And well, he's been giving me pointers on the plot. I don't think I've told him what the plot was. We looked at 3 different ideas that I had in my head, and then he gave his opinion on what he thought was kind of best to enter the market in the way that I wanted, or the way that I want to enter the market. So that's the idea I've been polishing up and sharpening.
Nice. And can you give us any insight on what that is without spoilers, without anything deep, keep it low key, but is there anything you can tell us about it?
Sure. The basic idea is that there is a character who has figured out that ghosts are like real. Like you can like interact and see the other side and everything. But he also has a brother who's heavily involved in the street life. and particularly enforcement and drug dealing, etc. Well, one thing goes wrong one day, and this brother has to kill said associate, but associate has hidden drugs somewhere, and to find those drugs, he has to go and convince his brother to use his kind of knowledge and
Mm.
discoveries to bring this spirit back and talk to it, and in doing so, they end up in a mishap of adventures together. So that's the opening kind of deal with it.
So it's hood crime mixed with paranormal.
Yeah, I actually didn't know though. Like one of the things that Adam did is we sat and we broke down. Like he showed me how to use this tool called Publisher Rocket, and we sat and broke down and looked at all the categories like Amazon has books and what sells and what people are searching for, etc. And there's a like a huge like urban fantasy, didn't know that, crime fantasy, and then there's like hood and African American fiction and all kinds of stuff. But like you can really break it down, and you can build a great kind of story where there's going to be fans for it no matter what your, I mean, I don't want to say no matter what, I mean that you can come up with some outlandish shit that no one's probably going to be interested in,
Yeah.
but you could, but there are a lot of markets. I guess is my main
Yeah.
point, and I was very surprised by that. I figured that you had to kind of exist in one of the big markets, which is something that
No.
he recommended. He said, he recommended again. He said, these markets are oversaturated. Even with your pool, it would be kind of difficult to exist in them to make a name to stand out. So what do you start low and small and you build and build and build support. And that made sense to me because that's identical to what I've done with my website and social media, which is start out, kind of carve out your space, and then as that space becomes your thing, you move slightly into another one, and you continue to build this foundation, and with that foundation you can use that to springboard up to more competitive topics and ideas, and really, and in doing so, grow your fan base and continue to
Right.
expand,
Do you
and before
find
you
that
know it,
do
you
you
have a
find
great
that
reach.
do you find that niching nonfiction books like your self-improvement stuff like your Twitter growth thread it's easier to niche and it's easier to market than this fiction?
Well, I don't know, because right now I have zero market experience in fiction. All I would go
Okay.
on is what someone tells me. What I can tell you is that so my approach to all of this, for the most part, is not scientific and is nothing you should emulate. I'm very lucky to be making any kind of money whatsoever from what I do because I don't do market research. I don't even like I love everyone, but I don't even care what everyone else likes. What I care about is what I'm interested in writing about and what I'm interested in discussing and what I'm good at. It just so happens that there are audiences for it, and I don't know. I don't think I can take that approach entirely with fiction. At least if I don't want to like be grinding away for years, because now it's an opportunity cost issue, and I was just starting.
Mhm.
I could just do it because there was nothing else kind of for me to do or write about. This is all I knew, and if I was going to make it, that's how I was going to make it. Right. With me trying to write something in fiction, it's not that simple anymore because every page I write of fiction is a page I could write somewhere else. So I have to make sure my efforts are are focused with a kind of, but with a more economic sense of energy. And I mean economics not in the sense of finances, but if I can't, if I'm just going to be writing to the same thousand people forever, that's cool, but that's not what I'm in the game
Yeah, you're
for exactly.
trying to grow
Yeah,
and just reach
trying
more
to grow and
people.
make sure that my time, energy, and attention is properly leveraged, or is best leveraged, I should say.
Now, you mentioned something right there, leveraging your time, your money, and your energy like that. And you're obviously you're a very busy guy. You're a very prolific guy. You tweet a lot. You write a lot. You speak all that. How do you balance everything together?
If I'm gonna be honest with you, terribly. Uh, I mean, I'm getting better. I'm getting a lot better, but a lot of this. So when I first moved into these spaces, I was working on a lot of stuff that had external restraints, conditions, and deadlines. I was, fighting army school, all that. Those are external deadlines, and it's like you better do this or else. And then I slowly but surely transitioned, and then I was working for myself, tutoring kids, and now I have to like show up on my own. There's a little more freedom and flexibility, but now it's all 100% free and clear. And I've built such a foundation that I can kind of get away with being as unorganized as I am, but I'm really, you know trying to improve it. But the thing that's making a really big difference though is I'm picking what's important to focus on
Mhm.
and focusing only on that, and everything else I'm discarding or pushing off to the side. I've been, for example, pulling back on a lot of partnerships because those things drain energy, and I'm the one with the huge range. Because like when you do a partnership, what's the idea? Two people come together, 1 + 1 = 3. All right. Well, what I've learned is that a lot of people like to partner and don't recognize the large marketing aspect, and there's just a lot more work for me to do with the same amount of
Yeah,
payout. Like,
where
why not?
the guy can have, like, I don't know, like 10,000 followers, you have your 100,000, and then you
And the
obviously
workload is equal, and I'm like, I'd rather, so.
yeah.
So that's one area. Another area is like looking at where I can win, and then focusing on winning there. I got sucked into the whole e-commerce craze that was happening. And then one day I just woke up and I realized, like, wait a second, I don't have any interest in e-commerce. One, uh, like I just don't care for it. This is the cool thing to say. Two, I have a unique advantage in my writing and my website and the structure I've already built. So why wouldn't I try to continue to lean into that and really make a big difference? And I think that's something that a lot of people have to look at
Mm.
when they make moves. And I see it all the time on Twitter. It's constant regurgitation of a lot of the same generic ideas. And I'm like, you don't understand. Going and doing the same thing in the same place everyone else is, not only is the space crowded, but now you have to do something that I absolutely hate doing, which is compete. Now you gotta now you versus somebody else, and it's like who can say what the most and the loudest and show off the best. Like no, you
That's what
just
you told me that when I was when you're helping me out with Twitter a bit. You just said, like, don't worry about a niche. Just don't just tweet
right.
what you want to tweet about, and keep it kind of focused. You don't want to be tweeting about 80 different things with no cohesion, but just tweet about things you want to tweet about. Don't worry about fitting into a certain segment, and then the success will come.
Right. And granted, that's probably a very watered down version of the idea. At the very least, it lacks detailed execution points. But the general idea is the same, and I see a lot of people that have success in this kind of, we'll call it personal branding, even though I still hate that phrase. I understand that that is the phrase that best describes what we do and how we do it. So I have to use it to be clearly understood. And if you want to succeed in that space in any way, shape, or form, and I say personal branding is anytime you use your personality to move things, and not an avatar, not a corporation, but it's you, it's a person. And if you're gonna do that, then you have to. I think you should anyhow move at it in a different way. When you try and do it the same way as everyone else, it's a crowded space. You're competing for the same customers, you're competing for the same attention when there's a huge world out there. A lot of people think that I've done on Twitter is magical or whatever in terms of growing my follower base, but I've always just been myself and talked about what's interesting to me. Now, granted, there are techniques to make that happen. That's what the books teach, or rather, there are techniques to do it in the most engaging way possible. That's what all my books and guides teach. But for the most part, I've been me, and I've found different people in different areas who are interested in different aspects of myself, and that's allowed me to grow faster and bigger
Mhm.
than most of the people, and continues to. There's no, and it's not just in my Twitter. The website, for example, you can look at the stats on any program you decide to use to evaluate it, whether it be SEMrush or Ahrefs or even Uber Suggest, and you'll see, the traffic is legit. The website signups are legit. All I'm doing is I'm taking a different approach. It's an approach that requires a little more energy because you can't just copy paste and roll things out. You really got to think about it. You really got to put part of yourself into it. But I think if you do that, it automatically sets you ahead of probably 70 to 80% of the field, who's just looking for a quick, easy way. That's why everyone got all butthurt on blogs about a year ago, because they're like, oh, it takes so long, and I need to see my ideas quick. And I'm like, look, man, the quicker it takes to build, the easier it's going to crumble. A lot of these guys who are heavy in e-commerce, they are realizing that right now. China, all it took was one thing, and drop shipping took a massive hit, and I'd imagine a
Yeah.
lot of e-commerce did as well,
Well,
because looking for a fast way.
the thing with the blog is that it's an asset, and assets take time to fully, get their value from. Whereas if you're just building you're just trying to get those quick cash grabs, the smallest little thing, like you said, can just push it away immediately.
Yeah, so it's I don't understand. I mean, okay, I guess I do understand. First, I understand the desire for something quick and
Mhm.
all, but I think what separates the big performers from the little ones is the ability to be patient and pursue something where the payoff is not immediate and it's not clear. Because yeah, you write your first 10 articles,
Mhm.
and you're not gonna make a dent. I mean, let's be real. I mean, even if you had like the best, you're paying for links, whatever. You're not gonna make a dent. No one cares. No one knows, whatever, right?
Yeah.
Over time, before you know it, you've got something that by itself passively is bringing in 40,000 eyes on you. 40 to 50,000. That's for mine. It's not huge, but not nothing to sneeze at. 40 to 50,000 different unique views per month. To put that in perspective, the Twitter has 114,000 followers. That's active. So we're looking at a thing that by itself does a lot more views than a lot of people's big Twitter accounts.
Mhm.
And all that is because I started writing it. What do we now? On the site, it says officially 5 years, but I think it's more like 7. This 5 is just when we switched over to that to the format we use now. So that's when the archive kind of starts counting.
Right. Right. That's very cool. When it comes to one thing I've noticed, is that all the big players that have been on Twitter for a long time, they all excel at one skill, and that's writing. And I think that skill it's so. I mean, I don't want to say it's undervalued because if you're tweeting, you are writing,
Yeah.
but consciously getting better at it and consciously taking that as a skill, learning how to write properly, sentence structure, paragraphs, making your writing interesting, that is a skill that can pay way more than people actually think.
A lot more. And many, well, because what is writing? Writing is just communication. If you can get your idea from your head into someone else's head, you have quite a bit of power. Now, how you deal with that, how you use that power is, up to you. But there are ways to make that transmission a lot more effective. And that's all the good writing techniques do. And when you understand that, then your world really changes. Even if you don't consciously understand it, you have this kind of unconscious uh, competence. You still are going to do it and reap the rewards from it. And some people, but I think it takes time. It takes time, and it takes intentionality. It takes it takes and it takes the interest. You have to want to be better at it. I mean, if you get discouraged, a lot of this stuff, if you get discouraged about it, you're not going to stick with it. Because it won't always be smooth. But but over time, it will. You should be getting better, and that's assuming you're learning and being intentional with your actions.
Mhm.
But if you're not, well, right, you go, oh, that doesn't work. Oh, that sucks. That takes too long, and then you give up, and before you know it, you're trying to learn something else new or go somewhere easier.
Shiny object syndrome.
Yeah, pretty much.
Ed, this was a great cast. We have to cut it off pretty soon. Do
Man, I
you
had no. I thought we were gonna be on for like an hour.
No. Our house is 25 minutes. The supercast, that's like 2.5 hours every weekend.
Oh, okay. Oh, no,
Yeah,
that's cool, man.
no, these are just
I
short. Boom. We get the information out. People love it. Yeah.
oh, that's good, man. Nice format. Yeah.
I got one thing. You can leave the people with. What's one skill they should start learning right now, other than writing? Because we already went on a diatribe about that.
Oh, maybe pick up another language, man. Your life is a lot easier when you can go other places. But that's just, just fun, neither here nor there. If you want to talk, like, I don't know if it's skill, but personality trait, man, grit is really useful. And I read a great definition of grit, and it's the ability to persist towards a positive goal in the face of temporary obstacles and setbacks, right?
Mhm.
Well, or at the very least, you look at the obstacles and setbacks and realize to yourself they're temporary, and that is what enables you to push forward.
Mhm.
That makes a big difference, man, because there is nothing worth having is going to have a smooth kind of positive slope. There's going to be times where it is negative, and you're like, "How am I getting worse? This is stupid." But the reality is that's just how it goes until you
Yeah.
span out, look at the big picture, and like, oh, it was just a small period of time. Now I'm getting better.
There we go. Ed Latimore, everyone, Godfather of self improvement Twitter. It was great having you on the cast, Ed. Really enjoyed this talk we had here. And for all you guys, we'll see you tomorrow with another episode of Our House. Talk later.